Pennsylvania Train Man here. I'd like to welcome you all back to the channel. I'm in the truck again tonight, and we're going to go over a few things. As many of you know, I work a lot with RC of Windber. I race there as the new track's being built. I've been working on building the driver's stand and stuff. And I run a variety of different vehicles. But this truck was bought by a customer through an online auction, not eBay, but another one. And this is a Losi SCTE 2.0. There's some changes that were made between the 2.0 and the 3.0, but there are minor changes and stuff they made, and the bracing and stuff, and then in the shafts and stuff, and there's some other suspension changes that were made. Anyway, this truck was purchased by a customer. He brought the truck in to do a practice on the track and end up having an issue with the front center drive shaft, which ultimately broke, and it's pretty well wore if you look at the edges and stuff. But anyway, basically what this video is going to be about is what to look at on some of these used trucks when you buy, whether you buy it at a shop, someone's house, whatever. And what I'm going to show you might help you decide whether or not you want to invest in the money in the truck or even the buggy, because a lot of stuff's still the same, and give you some ideas on what repair costs are going to be. Now, a little history about with how long I've been working and messing around with Losi stuff is I remember I had a JRX2 when they first come out, which is their two-wheel buggy. I also had a JRXT, which is their first stadium truck when they come out. So I've been messing around with the Losi stuff for a long time. A lot of the different buggies and stuff, and a lot of the associated stuff also. So, as many of you may know, I have an SCTE Losi short course truck. Mine is, of course, a 3.0. Now, the fellow that got this got it for a pretty nice price. He got it for a good deal on the truck. I don't have the body with it, but he got it full with electronics. It's got an RX-8 Gen 2 Tekin speed controller in it. It does have some wear on it, some plastics broken on it. It came with a Savox SC1258 servo. It's got a Tekin 4600 kV Pro 4 censored motor in it. And he's got the sensor wires hooked up and stuff. It's also set up on the bullet connectors with the Dean's adapter also. So, and I'm not sure for what receiver, pardon me, is in this particular truck. When Justin asked me to go over this truck for the customer, look it over, see what it needed, and to get the truck ready for the big inaugural race on the 18th, I said, hey, no problem, be glad to help out a fellow racer and get his truck, help him repair his truck. So, I'm just going to go over a few things a little bit about this stuff to look for. First of all, is this solder joint right here on this Dean's connector with the string tibbing and stuff. This can become an issue with shorting out. So you want to make sure you go in and fix this. This one on this side has electrical tape on it. I'm not saying electrical tape's a bad thing, but string tibbing does wonders. If this were to go by, and this is actually where the string tibbing has come off, is actually on the ground side. So you would want to, cut the string tibbing off, resolder, put a new piece of string tibbing on, resolder this back up. And since you're going that far, I would just go ahead and replace the hot side also, or the red side, if you will. It's just a real simple, cheap piece of insurance. It won't take you long to do. The other thing I would consider doing when you did that is I would put red string tubing over here on the red side, just to make kind of idiot proof, if you will. Excuse me. So, as I said before, this truck come in, he broke it first time he run on the track. Broke the center front shaft, which goes in up here. So I'll have to go by and disassemble this and order a new center front shaft. But the other thing is to look this truck over, and I'm going to show you some things to look at that will help you determine whether the price of the vehicle is worth what it's going to cost to repair or replace parts. First of all, with any vehicle like this, you know, they're going to get some slop in the suspension and stuff like that, and parts are going to wear out. But remember, replacing parts is going to affect your budget if you're on a budget, how much you can do, what you can and can't do. So, and if you look here, there's a lot of play in here. Now the wheel is bolted on tight, but there's a lot of play. Back wheel, same thing. There's a lot of play in here. The other side's the same way. I already have it loose. The sway bar end links. Plastic pieces back in here. I had a problem with these on my SCTE. On my front ones, the sway bar kept popping out and actually going underneath the front axle shaft. It was messing with the handling of the truck. So what I want to show you, I already have this one loose. Take this off. I like to look at the hex inside the wheels that come on the truck, see if they're worn or anything, see if the wheels are worn. And there's a lot of play in this. So I also see a good bit of play here in the rod ends. Now, I've determined by looking at this truck, just a little bit wiggling around stuff, these rod ends are really loose. There's a lot of play here in the knuckle. Now, the play in here and the knuckle can be shimmed out. It's simple enough to go by and put a flat washer in there and shim that out to take the play out. These knuckles here are reproduced. They make them in aluminum. If you want something a little bit stronger, you'll find a little bit of play in these pins. I'm going to try and tighten these up. But here again, you can shim these up a little bit with real thin washers to take the play out. Remember, any play that you have in your suspension, any excess play, is going to affect the handling of your vehicle. So therefore, and you don't want everything where it's rock solid tight. You want it to be nice and smooth. It's got to have a nice smooth movement. I can shake this right here, and I've got a lot of movement in this on the side to side. So as I watch, I can see the rod ends. These are pretty wore, they're really sloppy. And these are real simple and cheap to replace. It's kind of a time-consuming project, but nonetheless, it's real cheap to replace these rod ends. So I'm gonna look at the hex here. The hex looks pretty decent. It's not rounded off. It's still pretty tight. One of the things I did look at this truck, I'm try and get you a view here, is right in here at these drive cups, and it's hard to see the sway bars in the way, but is the drive cups. Now these front drive cups on this truck do not look bad. Now I'm going to show you the back, which I've already looked at, and you'll see the difference of what I'm talking about. And that's something you want to look at. And I can see here by looking at the front of this truck also that the sway bar, I tilt the truck down, the sway bar in here has been rubbing on the inside of this drive cup. It's a hard angle to get to. The shock's on. You can see the shiny part right inside there. The sway bar's been rubbing on that. So if by chance that sway bar catches the open part of the drive cup, that could bind up the truck, slow it down. I also went by and checked inside here to see if there's any play in the differential. There's plastic in here what the bushing goes on and stuff, or the bearing, excuse me, goes on, and they go into the case. And these tend to wear out in here sometimes. The plastic wears out and you'll get some slop in your differential. That's going to affect the life of your differential. And the plastic parts are actually relatively inexpensive. They do make, I believe it's either Yeah Racing or Hot Racing. I'll have to double check and see, but makes aluminum parts in these. So this is all just simple stuff to check over. I'm gonna go by and we're gonna check the bushings inside the A-arms and the pins and stuff that hold. And these are really tight up here on both sides of the front, so that's all good. The shocks feel pretty good. Now remember, you're looking at this stuff because if you're looking at buying a used vehicle, you want to know how much you're going to have in making this vehicle nice, smooth. So I was in there looking, and this is already unbolted. So there's a lot of play in here in our steering from our servo. There's no servo saver on this, and there's a lot of play in here. So we're going to go by and replace the rod ends on this, take the play out, which will tighten up the steering. Now I come to the back of the truck. You got your rear shaft that comes, and we're going to look at the drive cups on the center shaft, center differential. And there's a good bit of wear. There's some wear on these, but they're not real bad. There's some wear on the spur gear here, but here again, it's not real bad. It's something we can live with this truck. So we're not going to mess with it right now. But if I can get this where you can see it, right in here on this drive cup behind the sway bar, right here. These are really wore out, and there is a lot of play. I'm moving the wheel a lot before I'm getting anything turning in this differential. So that's not good. And we can let this go, but while I was looking at this, I looked in the differential, and I don't know if you folks can see how much this is moving up and down. Let me hold the truck solid here. But so that differential is moving up and down that much. So you've got a pinion gear in here, like it's a ring and pinion, ring and pinion setup, just like what you would find on a full-size vehicle, full scale. Your regular pickup is going to have a pinion gear and a ring gear, bearings and whatnot, and differentials. This truck is the same way. As I said before, like on the front, Let's see if I can get the angle on this. There are plastic cups in here. Bearings are inside of plastic cups, and then they come out through your plastic differential case. So if I look in here on the back here, on this side here, I can see a lot of play in this. Now, that's going to affect our gear mesh. It's going to affect, and as you can see here, we got a lot of play back here. And actually, this side right here is about ready to break the cup. So, you know, we're going to go by and we're going to order some parts for this truck. We're actually going to go by and buy a whole new differential kit for this truck. For the rear, the front seems to be all right for now. It's pretty tight. There's not much play. We're going to go by and order a set of rod ends for this. I'm going to take this back wheel off real quick. I want to have a look-see at this. Now, I see that someone's already replaced these rear knuckles on this truck, which is common. This looks like either the Hot Racing products or the Yeah Racing products. I'm not sure which they're, but anyway, they already have it shimmed up. Can't remember a little bit. It's already shimmed up on this side. If you look in here, they've got it shimmed up. We could actually go by and probably re-shim that. This bolt end right here is shot. So is the upper one up here. A lot of play in it. Same thing with this side. This side's really bad. You can go by and replace the ball studs and everything in one shot. And actually what I plan on doing with this truck is fine. And we are going to, and I noticed too that the sway bar end link back here is wiggling around, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to get that set screw out. And I can see that it's actually sliding on the shaft. So we'll probably try to tighten that up first before we go by and order a new one. The sway bar kits for these trucks, I can tell you from experience with mine, are relatively inexpensive. They're like 12 bucks for the front and rear. They come with a new sway bar. They come with all the mounting hardware and everything. And the pieces are back in here where they bolt to. It's kind of hard to see back in here, but they're in here. There's 4 little Allen screws, and they bolt on here to the rear of the differential case. So, and like I said, this is all stuff to consider when you're looking at purchasing a used truck. Now, if you just want a backyard basher, that's fine. But as bad as what this rear differential is on this truck, this is not going to backyard bash very long before you're going to be getting online to Amazon or eBay or Horizon Hobbies or A-Main or whoever it is you deal with, or going to the local hobby shop and saying, hey, my truck's broke, I don't know what's wrong with it, and I need some parts. So, you know, save yourself a little bit of time and look it over. If memory serves me correct, the gentleman that owns this truck paid about $150 for it. And to be honest with you, these RX-8s are not cheap. You got a nice motor with it. I'm not sure if the battery come with it or he supplied his own battery. A Savox servo. These are about $60 servo. Like I said here again, I'm not sure what receiver's in this radio. Let us pop the cover off and see what it looks like inside. This is a FlySky 3-channel receiver that's in here. So I'm guessing that the radio is probably a matching FlySky radio, goes with this also. So for what he paid for the truck, he got his money in electronics and parts. And to be honest with you, if he wanted to, he could go by and pull the electronics out of this truck and put them in something else, and he would not be hurting at all for what he has invested in this truck. Now, as far as the cost to fix this truck. I did look at some of the parts earlier. I have a better idea now what the truck's actually going to need. The washers are going to be relatively inexpensive. They're probably going to be $3, $4, $5 for a pack of them. And we'll go in and we'll shim some of this stuff up. I'm going to actually call him tomorrow and see what he wants to do, if that's what he wants to do. The ball end setup, we're just going to order a pack of the 14 pack of ball ends for this truck. Don't quote me, but $12-13. So we'll order that. These tie rods don't appear to be bent or anything. So we'll go by and I'll order them tomorrow, and I'll get them to the house, and that way I can go by and replace all these. Here again, I'm gonna go by and just order some shims, and I'm gonna tighten this up a little bit. I really don't think that I'm gonna be able to screw these in any further, so we'll shim this a little bit just to get some of this play out of it. They do make an aluminum knuckle for up here on these trucks. They also make it for the SCT, the 3.0. We'll shim that. We'll shim this up a little bit. This side's the same way. So the washers are probably going to be about $10. Let's just say a little bit, price a little bit high. Rod ends are going to be about $14. Sway bar set's going to be probably $12. This rear differential that's in these trucks, just the differential itself that's in here, these differentials are I don't know where you find them at. They're anywhere between $32 and $48. Now, my advice is if you're going to go to that extent and rip all this apart, because you have to tear all this apart. The whole rear suspension comes apart. I mean, when I did my truck, I left my shocks mounted in my shock tower. I left it mounted in my A-arms. Excuse me. And I just took everything apart. I took the rear bumper off and whatnot. Pardon me. So go ahead and order a case. It comes with front and rear case, and you know the comes with all both halves and stuff. And actually, it comes with the new plastic bushings that are in here. Although, try it this way: the new plastic bushings that go in here on both sides, in with the new case. Or you can upgrade and get the aluminum ones with lifetime warranty on them. So, anyway, all total to fix this truck and make it nice and tight with the front drive shaft, the middle front shaft, all new rod ends, some shims for shimming this stuff up. We're going to redo the rear differential with a brand new differential. When I build this stuff and redo it, I do it according to specs that Losi has set in their books. Some stuff I will adjust according to what I know, but anyway, I usually use the books and stuff. So the shocks seem really stiff on this truck. There's air in this right front. So we're probably going to go ahead and I'll take the shocks apart tomorrow night and look at them and see what oil's in them. This is really and we've got a shock issue with this truck. So okay, so I want to show you folks. This is the left side rear shock. And there's a little bit of deflection in here, as you folks can see. So now if I go to this side, try to get you the best view here. There's a lot of deflection in this, so I'm not sure. I might have to pull these shocks apart and go through them and see. I want to check the front real quick for the same problem. Now you're going to have some deflection, some play in here. This one here is a lot tighter on this side of the truck. So we're probably gonna have to go in and do a shock rebuild on this truck also. And I'm not sure what that's going to cost as far as doing the actual rebuild kit. I haven't looked at the parts up yet. When I redid mine, I didn't have to replace any of these parts. Mine are all still good. So we're get into this and find out what's going on. But anyway, I want to give you folks an idea of what to look for. And like I said, remember, every penny, nickel, dime, dollar that you spend on a used truck or a used car, whether it's a monster truck, a four-wheel drive short course truck, a two-wheel drive stadium short course truck, a stadium truck, anything that's RC. I don't care what brand it is. I don't care if it's Red Cat, if it's Tamiya, you know, Associated, Losi, Serpent, Yokomo, whatever. This is going to affect your decision on whether or not to buy the vehicle at the price, or are you going to try and haggle and maybe get it for a little bit better deal because of how much you're going to have wrapped up in repairs. He bought this truck for $150. I do know that. Like I said, I'm not sure if he got bags with it or not. It's going to cost around $100, a little bit more, to go by and fix this truck up and make all the suspension, everything real nice and tight. So now he's going to be in this truck about $250 roughly, if not $220. Actually, let me rephrase that. He's gonna be $150 for the truck, another $120. He's gonna be in this truck about $270 complete. You got a good speed controller, you got a decent servo, got a good radio, got a nice motor in the truck, but he's at almost $300 on this truck. So, you know, he bought it, like I said, he bought it on an auction. So now, and it's your call, folks. Make the decision based upon what it's going to cost to fix the vehicle up, to make it right. If you just want a backyard basher, something to go out and rip out in the skate park, in all honesty, I would fix the front shaft. These are $18 for this one. And I would come in and fix the rear differential, and you're going to have about $50, maybe $65 by the time you buy a case and the rear differential. And I wouldn't worry about the rod ends and some of this other stuff that's a little bit loose and stuff, because if you're just going out and bash around the backyard, you're not going to notice it. But if you're going to go out and, even whether it be a club level or a professional level, and competitively race this truck, you know, you're going to want everything nice and tight. So do yourself a favor and look the vehicle over when you go to buy it. Don't be afraid to use the tool of, hey, you know, it's going to cost me this much and this much to fix this up. You know, can you cut me a better deal on it? How you handle your business, folks, is just that. That's your business. If you want to walk in there and throw down $300 for this truck and the shape it's in, that's up to you. Me personally, it's not worth it. The electronics are worth what he paid for the truck. The rest of the truck, take it or leave it. But, you know, the new Losi short course truck, the kits are $300 some bucks. $369, something like that. You can buy a ready to run truck for brushless for what is it, $279, $300 for ready to run truck. But this was a kit built truck. The 2.0s were a kit built. So it's up to you, folks. I'm just trying to show you a little bit about what's involved in these and what to look for. You know, look it over good when you buy. I know I bought stuff on eBay. I got my B5M on eBay, and I also got my Losi stadium truck on eBay. And I looked out and I got a really nice deal. I do have some work to do on my stadium truck, but my B5M came to me in really nice shape. It's a really nice car. I did go by and do some little tweaking on it and stuff, and you'll see it in some of the videos. But, you know, I was lucky on that one. So, you know, check it out, look at it. Don't be afraid to look up parts, see what they cost and stuff. In all honesty, you know, with the stuff with this truck, it'd been nice to see it in a little bit better shape, but it's a typical RC truck, RC car, and it's gonna be wore out and stuff, and for the price market, so that it was in. But anyway, as always, well, before I get to that, just a couple of minutes here. They're used, they're as is, buyer beware. Take your time, look it over. The other side of this truck doesn't look too, it's got some pretty nice marks in it, but it doesn't look too hateful. It's seen some wear and tear. Got a screw coming out here, we're gonna have to fix that. So it's seen some wear and tear. So you know, if you really like it and you're okay with the price, then hey, go for it. If you ever have any questions or anything about this stuff, you can feel free to contact me. I know there's probably millions of videos on YouTube about this stuff. I'll help anybody, anytime, any place I can if they have questions or whatever about this stuff. And I don't know everything, and I'm not going to claim to, but you know, definitely don't be afraid to reach out to me and say, hey Chris, I bought this truck, I'm having trouble with it. Can you help me? And I'll see what I can help you figure out with it. So, but this video's gotten long enough. We're at 32 minutes on it, which is a little bit longer than what I planned on, but I want to really show you an in-depth view of this. I'm going to go buy and order some parts for this truck. I'm going to talk to the customer tomorrow and go from there and explain to them